Hey, Winston Frederick Sturzel. I know that I already used this clip in my last video, but it's an instant classic, Winston Frederick Sturzel. If anyone ever does a soundboard of you, Winston Frederick Sturzel, they absolutely have to include this clip.
I am allergic to lies.
That clip is right up there with this one, Winston Frederick Sturzel.
It's probably all the dicks I ever need to eat.
And now, back to the show.
In today's video, Winston Frederick Sturzel, you're going on and on about kindergartens in China. This clip is from your video that you posted 2 days ago, Winston Frederick Sturzel.
I actually was a kindergarten teacher in China. It was the first job I ever got, and that's how I got onto my feet in China. I taught kindergarten in a big city for about 1.5 years. And I tell you what, it was one of the most interesting and fun and insightful experiences I ever had.
That's funny, Winston Frederick Sturzel, because 2 years ago in a video titled How I Survived 14 Years in China, I seem to remember you said this, Winston Frederick Sturzel.
Let me tell you about this agent, because it's kind of interesting. So he got me some jobs teaching these kindergartens in the middle of Longhua and out there in the middle of nowhere. And it was probably one of the worst times of my life, I'm not going to lie. Because he had me getting on public buses, these little mini buses they had out there, and driving about 2 or 3 hours in a single direction. Go and teach in the morning there for about 3 hours or 2 hours, get on a bus and travel another hour in another direction for like an afternoon class or two there, and then drive somewhere else and do another class, and then drive back and get home late, at night to his place. And I was doing this for about 1 year, I'd say.
Nice choice of DVD movies, by the way, Winston Frederick Sturzel. Anyway, let's take a look at why you're talking about kindergartens, Winston Frederick Sturzel. Spoiler alert, you're about to say something doesn't exist while providing video evidence that it does in fact exist. I think that's a new trick for you, Winston Frederick Sturzel.
Kids in this Chinese kindergarten.
Okay, I'm going to play that first clip a second time, Winston Frederick Sturzel. Pay close attention. Does the AI voice say kindergartens in China, or does he say kids in this kindergarten in China, Winston Frederick Sturzel?
Kids in this Chinese kindergarten do laundry and cook, learning self-reliance.
Lies!
They have outdoor stoves proportionate to their height, and they make their own meals every day.
More lies!
From washing and chopping vegetables to cooking. They eat their own cooked meals with such gusto you'd think they're licking the plates clean.
Yep, that's a lie.
After eating, they voluntarily clean up and even line up to wash dishes.
Oh,
the
there's
principal
another lie.
assigns tasks based on the kids' interests to foster their hands-on skills. They start working right after meals, making baskets or knitting scarves for themselves, and even using sewing machines to make clothes.
Even more
They
lies.
embroider, weave mats, and even make their beds. They're taught independence from a young age.
Lies.
The older kids can cook a meal from scratch, and the younger ones are adept at kneading dough and making pancakes, making chefs jealous.
Lies.
They even squeeze their own milk and make juice from scratch. From washing and cutting fruit to the final product, they do it all themselves, with teachers offering guidance.
Lies.
After eating and drinking, they get busy with various activities like embroidery, building walls with mud, making puzzles, drawing, and making decorations. The girls can even practice makeup and hairstyling, becoming professional hairstylists upon graduation.
Lies.
They never skip school because there's just too much to do. Some netizens say this is real hands-on education, unlike other kindergartens where teachers worry about kids getting hurt. Here, they face challenges head-on, with special forces-style training,
Lies.
jumping rope while playing basketball, climbing ropes, and building giant Ferris wheels. They learn to ride balance bikes and practice martial arts.
Lies.
There's no crying when dropping kids off. They run straight to class. Fighting over toys? Non-existent.
Lies.
Everyone's too busy with their own tasks to bother with that. This is what childhood memories should be like.
That clip was a little bit lengthy, I know, Winston Frederick Sturzel. I included the whole thing because not only does it show amazing kids, it's also funny to me to hear you say lies so many times, while at the same time providing the video evidence for it, Winston Frederick Sturzel.
So childhood memories should be you learning to be a sweatshop worker, stitching together handbags, and making clothes. I don't think so.
Hey, wait a minute, Winston Frederick Sturzel. You seem to have forgotten the narrative of your own video. You're supposed to be claiming it's all lies, Winston Frederick Sturzel. But now you're being critical that it exists, right? Get back to the narrative, Winston Frederick Sturzel.
As you can see, nonsense propaganda like this going around showing Chinese children doing all these like weird cooking and preparing this and that and climbing up ropes and training for military and tearing down guns and whatever. It's rubbish. All of it's nonsense, and I'll explain to you why.
That's better, Winston Frederick Sturzel. You're the expert, so it makes me wonder who is putting out this rubbish CCP propaganda, Winston Frederick Sturzel?
There is something boiling up, and it's almost reached the surface. This is Chinese schools at this very moment.
Surprise, surprise, surprise!
You're both negative, Winston Frederick Sturzel, but you two have managed to be negative for opposite reasons. Very impressive, Winston Frederick Sturzel.
Somebody's taken basically shots of all these experimental kindergartens, actually called experimental kindergartens. It's kind of funny. You see the English name. It's like, this is the experimental kindergarten. You think, what's going on in there? Are they testing chemicals on the kids or something? But no, it's actually what they're called. They've got these experimental kindergartens where they try out different things. It happens. But again, this is not China. This is a couple of small examples that have been spliced together.
First of all, while I have seen those schools in Shenzhen with experimental in the name, Winston Frederick Sturzel, the school in the video does not have that in a name. This is a screenshot from your video, Winston Frederick Sturzel. The name of the school, translated to English, is actually Qinglan Big Windmill Kindergarten, located in Hainan Province, Winston Frederick Sturzel. Not only that, but you can go to newsflare.com, a UK company, by the way, Winston Frederick Sturzel, to verify that it is, in fact, not a bunch of different school videos spliced together by the CCP for propaganda purposes. Winston Frederick Sturzel. You could have done the most basic research, Winston Frederick Sturzel, but you're a man of shortcuts and facades. Shortcuts and facades. Newsflare claims that over 2,000 kindergarten principals from all across China rushed to learn their secrets, while scores of international parents clamored for enrollment spots.
The reason I'm even telling you this is I have the experience. I've done it. I know how Chinese kindergartens operate. So I can see through the absolute BS lies and nonsense that all this propaganda is trying to portray.
Okay, this is the part of your video that I find the most disturbing, Winston Frederick Sturzel. Your kindergarten experience is actually from 2007 to 2008, Winston Frederick Sturzel. That's like friggin' 16 years ago. If you're not aware that there's been a few changes in China since 2008, it makes me begin to doubt that you are in fact an expert, Winston Frederick Sturzel. I had planned to insert a few of the changes in China since 2008 in this video, Winston Frederick Sturzel, but there are just too many to choose from. The most obvious, Winston Frederick Sturzel, is in 2008, China opened its first high-speed rail line. Today, China has over 46,000 kilometers, or 29,000 miles of high-speed rail, Winston Frederick Sturzel. That's enough to cross from the East Coast to the West Coast of the United States 10 times, Winston Frederick Sturzel. Okay, wait a minute, one more improvement. I think you'll love this one, Winston Frederick Sturzel. A complete overhaul of public toilets across the country, which you will never be able to film, Winston Frederick Sturzel. Everybody knows how much you love filming toilets. That's gotta hurt.
So, the point of this video, those clips going around are bullshit. That's not really how it is in China. I know, because I actually taught kindergartens. And my job as the English teacher was to entertain. That's what I was there for.
Oh, can you please just give us one more new clip for the soundboard before I end the video, Winston Frederick Sturzel?
Come on, let's not mess around here. It's very easy to make up garbage